Hello and welcome back to the channel, Cali Legends Media. I'd like to thank all my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button down below. Set that notification bell on all so you'll be notified whenever a new video drops or we go live. Also, very important, hit that like button at some time during this video if you think it's worthy. It's a good way to support the channel, and it also helps move the videos to the algorithm. Okay, so this video here, look, I don't want to hear in the comment section, oh man, these guys are dropouts, or oh, that vato's from up north, or look, I'm doing this video solely based on content. These are content creators, YouTube content creators, and two of them are a couple of the top content creators on YouTube, the ones that have very, very high numbers of subscribers and get a lot of views, okay? And when you're in any kind of business, you always watch other people doing their business and try to pick up on game, you know? How to do things better. You know, if they're being successful at it, a good way to be successful is to take from what they're doing, okay? So I watch all kinds of different content creators. The ones I don't watch are the ones that have suspicion on them for being guys that do SA, you know. Anyways, yesterday there was a video. I believe it was a live. I think I clicked on it right on time, man, when this guy Al pops on Dubs and Gunner's channel. And the first thing this dude says is something to the effect of, hey, what's up? How you comadres doing? Disrespect from the gate, you know. Now, this guy has voiced his animosity towards Gunner on other videos, okay? I don't know what started that beef. I don't even care. That's all their pedo, you know? But what got me yesterday as I'm watching this, except for Al, Dubs and Gunner fell out of character, you know? That's not the Dubs and Gunner that I'm used to seeing on YouTube, you know? But Al did push him, you know. I was kind of tripping because they were kind of like, as they were talking to each other, they were like, well, my paperwork's more heavy than your paperwork. Está más pesado. I work for these vatos, you know, and ask these guys about me, and like all of that don't even matter no more, you know. These guys aren't in prison anymore, and they're still hanging on to that, you know, those accomplishments behind the walls. They mean nothing. They mean nothing now. There's nothing to point to anymore, you know. I could see if you're gonna share a story of an experience that may help another individual. Yeah, cool. But all like, you know, oh, I work for this vato and my guy was bigger than your guy, and you know, look, all of that's just a bunch of nonsense, you know. And if it would have been cool if these three guys would have just been able to get on there and stay in their character, you know what I mean? And yeah, say what you're gonna say, you know, hey, so and so, you know, basically I really don't like you, and that's my reason for not liking you either, you know. Well, you know, wow, Al, that doesn't make sense to me because, you know, what he does, he's an individual, you know, and I'm an individual. Like, what is it with me? What's your problem with me? And you know, like, because all that yelling back and forth, and then like everybody pull your dick out, let's see whose is longer, you know, that's like some dumb shit, you know. I'm not hating on these guys. Like I said, man, I watch them, not Al, but I watch these other two guys, man. I try to peep game, you know. You have to. You have to watch them. You have to see what they're doing. Same thing with American Cholo. Same thing with Blue Devil. You know, all these guys they got numbers. You know, they're pulling views. So you see what they talk about. You see, you know, how they present their stories and so on and so forth. You know, and try to pick up on little things that would help develop your channel and your skills, because you know it takes a little more than just sitting in front of a camera and talking to nobody. You know, I'm sitting here by myself speaking to you guys, but it's just a phone that I'm looking at, you know. So it took some getting used to, you know. And even that alone, that's just a small example of all the things that you need to go through sometimes just to make a video, you know. And more than learning what to do, you learn what not to do watching certain people, you know. You say, and you know, that went down bad, you know, that didn't work. I'm not going to do that, you know. I don't want to do that. Anyways, as usual, Chemo Flicks got a hold of it, and you know, that guy's always clowning and stuff. But even if he didn't, just watching it, it wasn't a good look, you know. I know Dub's viewers and Gunner's viewers understood why they were reacting the way they did. And I do too. You know, I'd be pissed off too. Somebody came on my platform disrespecting and clowning, you know what I mean? Like, I probably would have just told him, hey, call me on the phone, man. I don't want to do this on YouTube, man. This is punk shit. You know, take him off get rid of him, you know? And then give him a way to contact you, you know? But Gunner wanted to kick some ass. Gunner's talking about, yeah, fuck that, I want to fight. He didn't want to even argue with nothing. He said, I want to fight. Well, how can we fight? You know, let's fight. I don't know. Al says, you wouldn't fight me anyways, and just left it at that, laughed it off, you know. Dubs was pissed off like I've never seen him pissed off before. I seen him one time pissed off at Johnny, and that's why that guy Al kept on referring to, what are you going to do? You're going to threaten my whole family? You're going to come over and kill my whole family? And because I guess he made some comment towards Johnny about, you know, I'll fucking destroy your whole family or something, you know? So I think Al accomplished what he went out to accomplish. That was I believe that was his whole plan, you know, was to get under their skin, get them out of character. And yeah, he was smoking, laughing, and having a good old time. Anyways, I was watching it, and I was thinking, wow, you know, this shit just like flew out of control. I guess like there's some things that people say you shouldn't do on social media, and I think that's one of them, you know. And like I said, man, you know, whatever these guys did while they were in there means absolutely nothing now. That was all just a waste of time for these guys. It's never going to count for anything anymore, except I guess to you yourself, you know, if you're still like using that as a measure. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me, because that life's over, you know. That life, that's like, yeah, when I was a kid, I never lost a fight. Yeah, but what about now, you know? Right. Someone will probably come along and kick your ass now, you know, now that you know, you got this and that wrong with you, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, when you were young, that was all right for when you were young, you know. Or say that, yeah, I was young and I never lost a fight. And then the reputation you got now is that, you know, you're going around the neighborhood doing devious acts with other vatos, you know, like all that fighting means shit. You know what I'm saying? Trying to give an illustration on how meaningless all that was. You know, it's like, it don't count no more. That's not a measure of anything anymore. You know, maybe a measure as to who's believable. You know, when they tell a story, and who's been around the block more than the other guy. But that's about it. You know, it don't matter who they work for, what they did, or anything. It really doesn't matter anymore. That, you know, for one thing, that's only good for you really in prison, maybe in the neighborhood. But none of these guys are in either. They're not active in the neighborhood, and they're not in prison. You know, and they all say they don't plan on ever going there, and I don't blame them. I'm with them on that note. You know, I don't want to ever go back there. I don't want to fuck around with that no more. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was crazy, man. You guys got to go and watch that. That was on a live yesterday. I'll put the name of I'll put the name of the video so you guys can go check it out, man. It was fucking crazy. Never seen anything like it on YouTube. Maybe shit like that happens. I don't know, but I think this was the first time, at least the first time for me since I've been watching YouTube. You know, I've only been on YouTube a little over a year, but since I've been even knowing YouTube existed and checking out different stuff, I never seen anything so way out. Anyway, this is my video concerning this little issue. Hope you guys go and watch the video. It was a trip. I don't know, Dubs and what's Gunner's not really talking about it or saying anything about it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. You know, I don't know. Anyways, thank you for watching, people, and let's be careful what we do, man, so we don't end up behind bars, being locked up in prison. Let's be able to hear all the birds. I don't know if you guys can hear them, man, but that's a beautiful sound out here with all these trees, all these people. Go and do whatever I want. I could take a drive to the beach right now, or drive up to the mountains and mess around in the river. That's what we want, opportunities like that, you know, not to go out to the yard and do laps or rutina or go hit the bag. No, that shit, all that shit vale dick. Anyways, you guys stay free. Thank you for watching, and hope to see you on the next video.